We hire somebody, creates more work for us. Oh, it's just another person I have to manage. An executive assistant isn't like that. They're your bodyguard for productivity, so you can be productive. It's counterintuitive, but you need time and space, clarity to think. If you pull yourself far enough away, you can see things that you couldn't see before. When you're in it, you're in it. They're very effective. They're really good at what they do, and they love what they do. So what they're good at, I'm not. I'm a terrible assistant. It's drudgery. It just drags me down, and it's slow. If you don't have an assistant, you are your own assistant.
Cal Arnold, welcome, man. Can you introduce yourself? Let me know a little bit about your business.
Yeah, so I'm Cal Arnold out of Bozeman, Montana. Been here for 25 years. My business is BTI Log Home Care. We restore log homes, anything from structural replacement to abrasive blasting to sanding, staining, chinking, caulking, and then we have another entity that it jumps into that it will maintain. So we maintain log homes. We've kind of solved a big issue and problem in the log home industry, and have created a business. It's probably 23 years old, 22 years old. It vertically integrated from an abrasive blasting company, with a total growth at of this point of 8,000%.
8,000. Nice.
It was doing $50,000 a year for the first 4 years.
That's a good figure, though. I like the figure.
Hardest plateau to break, too. It's funny. We had no money to invest and do it. All we could do is just do a good job. And we actually threw money back into, from our jobs, our tips and everything else that we would have back into the business to get it to go. So.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. All right. So, Dunzo, you have been with us for, I just checked, it is about to be your 4-year anniversary.
Oh, dang.
4-year anniversary. So, you've been with us for 4 years. So, Go back 4 years and let's talk a little bit about what your life was like before having an EA, before you had an assistant.
I was wearing all the hats, man. It was a unique time because I decided I really went for it. I wanted some major growth. I'd pulled in someone into the books and the finance that could help me out on that. And I took on sales, operations, all of it, and I was managing, 10 to 15 applicators at that time. Now we're probably upwards of 40, but at that time it was just early mornings, 4:30, and then evenings, like right into the 10 o'clock at night, just working, getting it all done. Busy, and just in the hamster wheel.
What were the things that you wish you could have done back then? Like, what were the longings? You were like 10 o'clock at night and you still couldn't get to X. What were some of those things that you knew if you had the time that you get to work on those things and move the business forward?
One thing I knew is I wasn't working on the essential, the very important, the big things that move the needle. Actually, it was kind of like you read about it and you're like, yeah, right. With what time would I do that? Because right now I'm putting out all the little fires. Everything that's coming at you, man. It's what business is like. You got a tennis racket, and every day you wake up, and if you don't have the right people in place, just tennis balls start coming at you. You don't know what it's going to look like. Hit them back. So, it was, I think to answer your question, I wish that I could have worked on the design, the creativity of a business, creating clear vision, clarity of outcome to then give to the team. I didn't have time to build the team. You don't have to recruit the right people. So then you end up getting just deeper and deeper and deeper in the hole. And, you want to grow as a company. We want more. We're hardwired for that. So we end up going for more and more and more and keep starting more fires.
So let's talk a little bit about how Dunzo comes into play here. and basically bring me to why you made the decision to even start thinking about an executive assistant. How did you first hear about Dunzo? How did you start thinking about that decision? Bring me back there a little bit.
I'd like to say that I was smart enough to have done my research, and I was preparing for it, but I wasn't. It was more of my hands were thrown up. Like I was exhausted. I needed something. That then drove me in the direction of, you hear about an executive assistant or read Michael Hyatt's My World-Class Assistant. And then you and I had a conversation. I started looking into it, and I was looking for a in-person assistant because I could wrap my head around was this person had to be right there, right next to me all the time. You had told me what done about Dunzo and what it had to offer, and kind of like, well, just try this low barrier to entry. We could just start with cleaning up emails, and it was a real easy barrier to entry. So I started to slowly offload a lot of those daily tasks and fires and the things that were eating all my time up. The things that frankly, I just sucked at doing too. Like I don't have the organizational skills. I don't have a quick, effective way to get through email. My emails got so many coming in. Um, Something had to change. If nothing changes, nothing changes. And yeah, so it was and it was a comfortable enough like test the waters. Does this work?
Yeah. What were your hesitations? What were you worried about?
Working virtually with some of my EAs out of Florida, and it was like, okay, was this time zones? Are they going to understand what I need? How is this going to work? Well, it's very effective. An hour ahead, they got my email prepared by the time I get up at 5:30, like, or a couple hours ahead. It's just the actual opposite happened. And yeah, they don't necessarily need to go be picking up my laundry or things like that, but they're taking care of everything that's coming into my inbox. There's a lot that they do for me now. Without them, I wouldn't know what to do. But hesitation was, am I going to be able to make this executive assistant effective enough? Like, will I be able to delegate enough? And that's something that you learn to do. It's a great way to enter that, because honestly, I'm just going to go into this a little bit on the executive assistant with my hesitation of delegation to keep them busy, keep enough in front of them. It doesn't work that way. They're looking for, they're getting ahead of it for you.
Mm.
They know with enough time with you, you develop, you sculpt the relationship. They're looking out. They know how you'll answer. They're not coming to you and be like, okay, well, sometimes, all right, I could take on more. That's always the lovely thing when they're like, because you end up loading them down with a lot of your stuff. But I think that it was like, the hesitation of what am I going to put in front of them when you actually don't have to worry about a lot of that. Together, you action aligns. That's the best way I could put that. Action within the EA aligns they are working with you right alongside you. It's a partnership.
You have the hesitations. You start to learn each other's language. And one of the ways that we describe it now, I don't know if I described it to you back then this way, is learning to dance, right? So you're a professional dancer. This other person's a professional dancer. And the first time you guys dance together, it's not going to be magic. Like, it's not going to be like, you might step on toes, you're going to misstep, but you dance for long enough together, it starts syncing up real quick. And you have two of the right people that should be paired appropriately together. It starts happening. You start dancing together. And so I wanted to ask you, how long did it take for you to start getting into that rhythm with your assistant?
We're still dancing. We're still getting better. We're still improving.
Mm.
Right away to when we're being effective that was really quick. That's what I was surprised about. It was, hey, can I do this for you? it is awkward because you're like, what I dread, they like doing.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah. So in what I like doing, they don't want nothing to do with it. They don't want anything to do with the creative, the build, the big, uh, the big decisions. So that was unique in the way, or that felt weird to be like, you sure I'm giving you all the things I hate, but you love them? So, um, right away when I got comfortable with that, I say that's when we started to really evolve in this dance. And this dance we speak of, let's just call it a delegation dance, a planning dance. You have to be able to become good at that. Otherwise, you're only as good as what you can do. It's a really good way to train yourself to delegate to teams and to create clarity. And for me, I note down at the end of the week, and it's like, okay, what can I hit the floor? What does next week look like? All of the tasks, all the things I have to do. Now it's not a stressor for me to write them down because most of those go to the delegation side.
Yeah.
And you have that coming in their inbox at 6 a.m. And it's like, oh, all the things are moving along without your effort. You might get a question back like, hey, I need an answer to this, and that batched. But you got to remember, you're moving like 10, 12 things along at that point, or maybe more, depending how effective you are.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the outcome of where we're at now with the dance. It's like we're, you know, everyone's watching on the dance floor.
Love it. So, business architecting, before assistant, wanting to and wishing you could have more time for it. Now, let's fast forward to now. And how much are you business architecting now? How much more time do you spend in that zone than before?
An uncomfortable amount of time.
Mm.
It's so strange. I'm so hardwired for 25 years to feel the effort and to be a firefighter and to do the job that I didn't actually love doing. I loved effort. I loved results. I loved pushing against things. There's ebb and flow with it in the beginning because there's going to be corrections. You're going to have to, something might pull you back in where you may have delegated incorrectly, or maybe you didn't get enough clarity, or maybe you got lazy in the way that you were delegating. And okay, correct. It just gives you more data to perfect the dance.
It's not completely perfect, the relationship. You don't just like right away, everything magically just clicks into place.
No, you're getting to know each other, and especially if you've never had an EA, you have your way of doing it, and you think you have to have control of everything. So there's a big let it go part. Most of the issues fall on I would say the executive.
Mm.
And I think that would probably be the best bit of advice I could say to an executive that's hiring an EA for the first time is watch your ego.
Mm.
Have some self-awareness, because this relationship, it depends on, how much you let go too. And there's a lot of trust too. I give a lot of trust. I open up a lot of my everything, every password that I have, my assistant has. We built up to that, but no, right off the bat, it's not perfect, such as anything, and especially in business, it's like you gotta sink your teeth in, make some mistakes, correct it, and I think it could be one of the most important relationships you have though in your business.
Yeah, I agree.
It doesn't take a lot of work, or there's not a lot of drama, and there's not a lot of emotion in it. It's just like, let's get some work done, let's be productive, and the executive assistants I've had, they're designed to not put more on your plate.
Mm.
We're hardwired to think every time we hire, not hardwired, we just, through experience, historically, we hire people, it creates a lot more work for us. We hire somebody, creates more work for us. Oh, it's just another person I have to manage. An executive assistant isn't like that. They're your bodyguard for productivity, so you can be productive.
Something I talk about often is taking things out of your brain onto their plate. It's in your brain, and you're just like, hey, I'm thinking about this. We need to get this done. Can you handle X% of that, 90% of that? Come back with questions, right? And it's so good hearing that from you, especially because you're very high visionary in that way. And it's not a typical skill that people have because they haven't been able to flex it very much, right? Like you said, kind of an uncomfortable amount. You spend an uncomfortable amount of time doing it now because you haven't done it for the other decade and a half of your business. And the night and day difference of watching you work in your zone versus having to put out more fires and manage more people, processes, and make sure they get something, like, it's wild, absolutely wild to see the difference. It's super cool.
In the beginning, I think it's really important to be as genuine as you can. Try to act like you have it all together. Don't be that person because the housekeeper's coming that you clean your house for the housekeeper. Let them see the mess that you are. That's big for me. Like the first thing I say is like, I'm a madman, and at any time you can tap.
Yeah.
If you're like, this is, and I try to expose that right away. It's like, I'll talk about this, and I'll give this big long idea here, and we got to run it through a filter, and the filter being like, is this something we want to tackle now, or do we want to shelve it? I've got these projects, so I'll just like go as I go. I show them my true colors, true self, and I think it'd be more effective then, because they know, okay, he's probably thinking this way, or he's more genuine you can be with your EA, the faster that process will go.
That's awesome. Do you have any tasks that you can't believe you let go of? You thought you were going to hold on to those bad boys forever, and now your EA is handling it.
One night conversations, emails back and forth can get solved without ever touching keyboard. It's incredible. That's taken care of. Yeah, I just closed on another real estate deal with probably 4 Slack messages. Everything's taken care of. I did some DocuSigns. So the letting go of email, I hate email. It's the world's to-do list for you. So having that EA between you and the world's to-do list, they can direct all of those emails, and they can actually determine if it's in the essential for you. Is it something that my executive should be working on, or is it something I could take care of? Blocking the schedule as well is we defend my schedule for that productivity time. It's that time we create for. I need to design, create clarity of outcome. The most important things that need to get done now get blocked by my assistant. Otherwise, everyone's going to come in. So when those requests come in, they're like, hey, I know you wanted this block. Do you want this week? For one, this is a big week for me. And this conversation came like, hey, I know you told me this week is a complete focus week for you. Is this a meeting you want to take? And I had that ability to make that decision on one of my focus days. Letting go of the email. That was a big one. That's wonderful because by the time I get my Slack message, it tells me things I need to read. They go into my read folder. It tells me my action items, things I got to take care of that day. But usually it's down to 1 or 4 things, which is so different. So now I gotta make 4 to 5. I gotta read one thing and make 4 decisions, potentially give 2 responses, or there's a time frame in when I have to give that response. And my EA knows me well enough to where they're like, "Hey, remember this needs a decision today." So in the next Slack report, they're gonna remind me because they know that I'm running through walls, and they're helping me Keep aligned on it. I'm going to add one more. Right. Traveling. The the calendar has become my such a tool for me and such a just North Star. It's like, okay, I just landed in Dallas. I was supposed to make a phone call. Oh, just go to the calendar. It's all in there. Like you're landing at 3:45. Chart. You guys are taking maybe on a business trip. You're taking the shuttle to the hotel for the summit, and you have this phone call coming in 15 minutes. Or the links are there. My calendar for this. My link was in there. I just went to my calendar because like, oh, I know I have a interview today or a meeting with Nick. Went on there. Great, links in there. It's always there. It's always in my calendar. And that's what we've built. That's what we've built up to. Is we know that I live and die by my calendar.
That's awesome. Envisioned I envisioned this being like playing t-ball, right? Like you're way better than being able to play t-ball, but imagine just having the ball right on the tee. It's like, all right, now just go hit the ball, Cal. Like that was the intention of like what we wanted to set up. And hearing you explain all this just makes me so happy. It's amazing, man. Like it's almost like cheating. Like it feels like cheating because how many years did you not do it this way?
Right. The comment I get. So I'm going to share one more story, and I'll share as many as you want. Yeah, T-ball is a great way to put it because it's like all of these appointments, everything's teed up, everything's in there. How much time does that save you from having like, okay, I know that email, search that email, I found that link. Okay, I got to bring that link in. Now you have 15 minutes of prep before you go into this next meeting. Maybe you got to text that person because you can't find the link. All of that's done. That dirty stuff's done. Step up, smash the ball, step into the next one, smash the ball. Oh, hey, guess what? I need 15 minutes between my meetings so I can reset. I need 30 minutes, whatever it is. Say what you need. And then that's when you step up to the next one. Also, give them the permission. I would say give them the permission to call you out. I'm noticing this. Behaviorally, this doesn't seem to be working. Is there something we want to do? At that point, that's where you got to be like non-insulted and actually think about that. Be like, yeah, well, actually, probably a good idea. We should probably give 30 minutes between appointments because it seems like I slowly fell behind that day. Or maybe they have a suggestion. Hey, maybe we just batch all our meetings into one day. And then that leaves, they might have ideas that you're not even thinking about. So be open to that. But it is a bit like cheating. And a lot of people, I'm really surprised at how many people are resistant to an executive assistant.
Me too, Cal. Me too, Cal. What do you tell them? Okay. Somebody's watching this right now and they're wanting an EA, probably after hearing this conversation, I would assume, but they're hesitant, right? Like, and I know you've had those conversations before. I mean, I know you trusted me enough to send friends my way, right? And they become clients. Like, it's amazing. What do you tell them? How do you convert people into believing?
I'll say it this way. If you don't have an executive assistant, you are an executive assistant. I don't mean that in a way that what they do is less than or I can't do what they can do. That's why executive assistants get paid well. They're very effective. They're really good at what they do. And they love what they do. So what they're good at, I'm not. But why should I be doing? I'm a terrible assistant to myself. I'm terrible at email and organization and the details and it's drudgery. It just drags me down and it's slow and it just like, I don't have energy, but it just sucks my energy. I've used to it. I'm calloused, so I operate that way. But yeah, I would say if you don't have an assistant, you are your own assistant. And some people run with that. They go, well, yeah, I could do it. I could do my own email, kind of a pride thing. It's like, I can let that go. I take pride in how much I get done and productivity. How can I optimize how much we can get done. And it's a team thing. That is, your assistant is working for your productivity, moving the ball down the field. You're working together on it. So if that's going to create a better outcome for myself, my employees, and everyone around me, heck yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to have an EA.
Cal, you're the man. Appreciate you as a friend, as a brother, as a client. And man, it's been so cool to watch your journey over the last 4 years of being with Dunzo. And you are just such an amazing mouthpiece for what an EA can do for someone like yourself as a small business owner. Thank you. Appreciate you and your time spending telling your story, telling things about your experience. If you're watching this right now and you want to explore getting an EA, click the link in the description, go to getdunzo.com, GETDUNZO.com, and book a discovery call. Book a discovery call. We'll talk about it. We'll figure out exactly who to place you with. We'll ease all of your worries, and then you can be a lot more like my buddy Cal here. So appreciate you, man. Thank you for your time, and talk again soon.
Yeah, thank you, Nick. Appreciate it.